Well, hello, good morning. Excuse the appearance, this is probably how you're going to see me for a long time, to be honest with you. Hello, first of all. If you're not new here, you may have watched my last video where I kind of gave you a brief look into what is going on in my life at the moment, but if you didn't, then this video will explain everything. In my last vlog, I filmed a bedroom reveal and I did a little Q&A as well. And it was the day before I was due to be going to Santiago, and I was taking my boyfriend with me as well. And about an hour after I ended that vlog, I came home from the shop and I was in the kitchen. Basically, I might as well just start at the beginning. So today's Monday, and last week, Monday to Sunday, was just the week from hell, honestly. So it all started off, I was in Boston. I had a 3-day trip to Boston, so I went on the Sunday and I was due to fly back on the Monday night and land on the Tuesday morning. However, my flight home got cancelled, so I ended up getting stuck in Boston for another day and I didn't get home until Wednesday morning, which I was obviously a little bit upset about. As I said in my last vlog, I am missing home, but it wasn't the end of the world. However, when I was in Boston on the Tuesday, I got a phone call from my other half saying that his mum was in hospital because she had a slipped disc in her back and they were thinking that they might need to do emergency surgery. Thankfully, they didn't end up needing to do that, but at the time it was very worrying. And obviously I was in another country, so it was not the best. I eventually arrived home on Wednesday morning, and then I was basically supposed to originally have Wednesday, Thursday off, and then I was back to work on Friday just for a there and back, and then I had my Santiago on Saturday. But because my trip got extended, I ended up being given Friday as an extra day off so that I had my minimum of 2 days off after my Boston. And then on the Thursday, my first day off of 2, I had a shower and I was upstairs sorting out my wardrobe, sorting out some clothes for Vinted. And I came down a couple of hours later and there was a huge leak falling from our dining room light. It was all over the table, all over the floor in the dining room, and we eventually worked out that it was our shower pump was broken and it was leaking. However, when we originally discovered the leak, I was at home on my own, so I rang my boyfriend straight away and he told me to turn off the water supply. Our little lever to turn off our water is behind our fridge, so I had to pull our fridge out in order to get to the lever, and our fridge is on wheels at the back, so the best way to move our fridge is to basically get something underneath the front of it and then you can just pull it out without scratching the floor. My other half said he had some, like, I call it tarpaulin, but apparently that's not what it is, but it's basically this like thick kind of like cardboard stuff that he had in the shed, which I got out and I put it under the fridge and I pulled the fridge out, turned the water off. Bob's your uncle. That night we went and got a new shower pump, and my boyfriend's dad wasn't able to come and fit it for us until the following night, which was Friday night. And obviously we really wanted it sorted before we went away because we didn't want to risk any leaks whilst we were in Santiago. But because he couldn't come and do it until the Friday, we were like, we might as well leave the fridge and the cardboard on the floor because we're going to need to access it again tomorrow when he comes over. So our house was in a little bit of disarray, should we say, because I actually was planning originally when I filmed that last vlog, I was going to do a little clean with me as well, but because everything was like so messy in the house, I was like, I'm not going to include that part in the vlog. On Friday, I wake up in the morning, I film my bedroom reveal, I go to the supermarket. Whilst I was out, I filmed a little Q&A for you all. I end the vlog, I go to Sainsbury's, I get some bits for dinner, I come home and I went into the kitchen to kind of start unpacking the shopping, and I was walking around the kitchen like putting things away when I suddenly slipped on this cardboard that's on the floor. And I went to like, because I knew I'd slipped, my first reaction was to kind of like kick away to kind of stop myself from falling, if that makes sense. I ended up kicking the back of my left heel onto the bottom of my oven at quite a brute force. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God, what have I just done? Because it didn't hurt straight away. And then suddenly this pain comes over me. Like, honestly, I think it might be the worst pain I've ever been in. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? And I tried to put weight on my left foot and I could not stand on it at all. It was excruciating. Luckily, I was in the kitchen. So the first thing I did, my first aid skills came to light here. I was like, rest, ice, compress, elevate. So I grabbed some ice out of I grabbed some frozen peas out of the freezer and rested my foot on the peas. And then I called Barney and was like, I've hurt myself, I think I need to go to A&E. So luckily he only works about 15 minutes from our house, so he left work to come and get me. he had to literally like carry me out of the house. I was hopping, but like it was really, I could not put any weight on my foot and the pain was so bad. And I was like, I'm hoping this is just a sprain and I'll be okay tomorrow. I was very naive, guys. I was thinking it's gonna be okay. We're still going to Santiago. Anyway, I get to A&E. Barney has to go and get me a wheelchair. He can't like carry me into A&E, so luckily there was a wheelchair available. I waited for about 45 minutes in the main A&E reception at my local hospital until I was called in. By this point the pain had completely stopped, which made me think maybe I'm okay now, maybe I can walk on it. So I went in to see the doctor and he was like, asked me what had happened. I told him what had happened and he said, have you taken any painkillers? And I said I took some ibuprofen just before I left the house. He did offer me some paracetamol as well, but I declined because at that point I wasn't in any pain. And then he said, I'm going to refer you to outpatients, which is basically just another area of A&E. He was like, I'll take you there now. And I said, oh, hang on, I might be able to walk because I don't feel any pain anymore. And then I tried to stand and I definitely could not stand on it. Like there was no way. So he wheeled me to outpatients and I then waited there for maybe like half an hour until I was seen by a nurse, and she knew just from looking at it that it was an Achilles rupture. She got me to like kneel on a chair, like with my back to her, with both of my legs on the chair, and she basically like was touching the area where my Achilles is, and she said she couldn't feel it at all in my left ankle. She said, I'm gonna get you an x-ray just to be certain, but I'm pretty sure you've ruptured your Achilles, and if that's the case you're gonna be in a boot for 6 to 8 weeks. And I'm like, wow, it was not on my 2025 bingo card. I'm supposed to be going to Santiago with my boyfriend tomorrow. They sent me for an x-ray. I didn't wait very long for the x-ray at all, to be fair. I get sent back to the nurse. She shows me the x-ray and yeah, I've completely ruptured my Achilles tendon. So she's then confirmed, you know, you're not going to be able to walk on this foot for at least probably 8 weeks. You're going to be in this boot. She was like, I need to give you a blood test to make sure that your kidneys are okay. And guys, I don't like needles. I don't like blood tests. I was okay. I have gotten a lot better with needles since I got older, but I have to lay down. I have to close my eyes. I can't think about what's going on. Otherwise I will just pass out. So she's like, I have to give you this blood test to check your kidneys to make sure that you're okay to have your medication whilst. And I'm like, what's my medication? And she told me the name of it and I still can't pronounce it, so I'm not going to try. But it's basically a daily blood thinner injection, which is fantastic. Obviously, with my fear of needles, that goes down an absolute treat every evening. This is my boot, by the way. I have to wear this every day, at all hours of all days. I'm allowed to take it off once a day to change my sock and to clean my foot, but other than that I have to wear it all the time, even when I sleep. So yeah, I had my blood test and then she came and fitted my boot for me and gave me crutches. She also gave me this little bit of paper. It says you have an Achilles tendon rupture, and it says all about like the healing, the pain, the walking, exercise, all of that. Yeah, I've got crutches as well, but when I'm around the house I actually just walk on my boot. I obviously have to be very careful. I can't put any pressure on it, so I do walk a little bit funny, but when I go out, I went out yesterday to the supermarket with Barney, I do take my crutches. What I will say, when I was younger, I used to get so jealous of people that had crutches because I thought they looked so fun. I used to really want crutches, and I can say with absolute certainty that they are the most unfun thing in the world. I can think of so many things that are a lot more fun. Yeah, so I got my boot fitted and then I just had to wait for my blood test results to come back so that they could then give me my meds. And I was in A&E in total for about 4 hours, but that wasn't too bad considering everything that got done in that time. I returned home on Friday evening, 24 hours before I was due to fly to Santiago, with a boot and some injections. And to say that me and Barney were very disappointed is probably an understatement. We were obviously quite upset that we weren't going to be going to Santiago, but obviously my health comes first and there's no way that I can work like this. So I actually had to give work a call on Saturday morning, tell them what had happened, say that I'm going to be off for 6 to 8 weeks, which, guys, I can't lie, I actually don't mind that. I probably will mind in a few weeks when I'm going insane, but I was actually quite excited to have some time off because I do feel like I've worked a lot recently. I feel like it was an omen because literally in my last vlog I was talking about how I missed being at home, how I really wanted to be at home more, how I wasn't enjoying my job anymore. It was like the universe heard me say that and they were like, right, we'll give you an Achilles rupture, that will sort you out for 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, my life now for the next 2 months is nothing really. Obviously I can't drive, I can't do anything really. I can't go out anywhere without somebody to take me, and even if I do go out, I can't stand up for very long because it's just painful to stand for too long. Obviously I have to put all of my weight on my right leg. Standing for too long is just a no from me. Today's officially day 3 of me being bound to my house. Guys, don't slip in your kitchen, and if you do, just let yourself fall, because I think if I just let myself fall to the ground, I think I would have done a way less damage than trying to stop myself and actually ending up kicking my oven and rupturing my Achilles tendon. This is the first time I've ever had a serious injury as well. I had like little injuries when I was younger, especially when I was a dancer, but I've never had anything this bad before. I've always been able to drive still. I've always been able to walk around and leave the house. And so anyway, I can't lie, my content for the next 2 months is going to be probably a bit samey because I can't do much. But the good news is I have so much time on my hands now that I can actually focus on YouTube, actually get videos up for you all. Also, obviously, I am not going to be earning the amount of money I would normally earn because I'm not going to be working. So watch all of these videos to the end and watch all the ads. I'm joking. Obviously, you don't have to do that, but it will help me out. I can focus on my small business. There's lots of things that I can kind of focus on that I've never really had the time to focus on. So I thought I would do a little spend the day with me in my boot. I'm about to go and have a shower, which, as you can imagine, is a complete ordeal. I will show you, obviously I'm not going to show you myself showering, but I will show you how I navigate the shower. As I said yesterday, I went out to the supermarket with Barney, and I didn't realise this, but they actually have trolleys with like little seats on them for people that can't walk properly. Thank God, because I was thinking I was going to have to hop around the supermarket on my crutches, but I wanted to go. Like, Barney obviously said don't come if you don't want to, but I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to do something with my day. That was a fun supermarket trip. I'll put a picture here of me in the trolley. And then we got back, and as I said, I was actually sorting out some clothes for Vinted in my days off, but I didn't have a chance to list them yet. So I listed all of my new things on Vinted last night, and I've actually made 3 sales since, which is very good. Obviously, I can't post any of it myself, but I am going to go upstairs. When I go upstairs to shower, this is how it works now. If I need to go upstairs, I go upstairs to do multiple things at once so that I don't just go up for one thing. Luckily, we do have a toilet downstairs, so that's fine. But yeah, when I go up for a shower, I'm also going to package the things that I've sold on Vinted ready for Barney to post them for me tomorrow. I feel like I have so much to say that I'm just kind of like blurting things out. This is my current book that I'm reading, The Housemaid is Watching. It's the 3rd book of the Housemaid series. This is how far into it I am. This bit is how far I am, not that bit. Not very far, but to be honest with you, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of reading now. So I'm in no rush to read books because I know I'm definitely going to be able to achieve my monthly reads, which I have still been doing. I'm also trying to do intermittent fasting. Now that I'm not going to be moving, I obviously am quite concerned that I'm going to put on quite a lot of weight, which I know isn't the end of the world, but I really don't want to put on weight, and I want to still try and do as much as I can. I don't really want to become one of those people that doesn't move and doesn't do anything. Obviously, compared to the amount of exercise I would normally do, I'm not going to be doing that much. So I thought the best thing for me to do is to diet in some way. For me, the most effective diet I ever did was intermittent fasting. And because I'm not flying at the moment and I actually have routine, I'm not working through the night, I'm not going to be in a country where I'm behind or ahead in time. I'm literally going to be in these 4 walls every single day for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Eating between the hours of 12 and 8, which is what I'm going to do, isn't going to be too difficult. Once I got used to it as well, I do feel hungry at the moment. I actually don't know what the time is. I feel like it's almost 11. But when I first start doing this, I always do feel hungry in the morning. But once I kind of get used to not eating until 12, I then stop feeling hungry in the morning. I just think this is the best thing for me to do, because when I did it before, I did it a couple of years ago, and I lost like half a stone in a few weeks, and I wasn't even really doing that much exercise at the time either. So I think this is the best thing for me to do. And like I say, I'm not like being materialistic here. It's inevitable that I'm probably going to put on weight, and it really isn't the end of the world, but I would like to try and do what I can to stop that from happening. It's going to be a very strange change for me, but I would like to bring you all along for the journey, because this is my life now for the next 2 months. Honestly, what else do I have to do other than talk to you guys and vlog? That being said, let's go and tackle the shower. Here we are upstairs. I've just put my dressing gown on because I'm going to show you how I take my boot off. I've been wearing knee-high socks underneath because they tell you to wear a sock with it, and these are the best ones. They're cotton, and obviously they go all the way up past the boot, because I found that the first pair of socks I put on, it was just a normal pair of ankle socks, and where the boot is very tight on me, it was giving me pressure points with the sock. The sock was like cutting off my blood supply in some places, so definitely best to wear knee-high socks. But I have 3 straps on this boot. Then I have this thing that I don't really know what the name of this is, but this is basically to keep my foot in place, so I take that off. And I have to be very careful when I take my boot off, guys, because I can't be moving my foot in a place, in a direction that it's not meant to be going in. So I take my foot out. I then have this kind of like foam cover which I wear, and then this is the actual boot itself. It has wedges in it because when you rupture your Achilles, you need to kind of be on tiptoes at all times. You can't put your foot down flat, which is why I couldn't stand when I originally did it. It doesn't actually, I thought I was just going to constantly feel like I was wearing a pair of high heels, but I don't, or not a pair, one high heel, should I say. And then you just undo it here. It's just Velcro. And then I'm just going to take my sock off. Shall I show you my foot? Maybe some of you are squeamish, so look away if you don't want to see this. I mean, it really doesn't look bad. Like, it's just bruised and swollen. So if you don't want to watch this bit, feel free to skip. But I thought I might as well show you all. So you can definitely tell which one is the injured foot. So this is my injured foot. You can see how swollen it looks. The actual, oh, yeah. So I've got a bruise on the bottom, which I've actually just had a call from the fracture clinic before I started filming, and they've said that this is normal because when you rupture a tendon here, it bleeds and then it goes all the way down to the bottom of your foot because of gravity. So, and then I've got some bruising here as well. That's the damaged area there, which you can't really tell, but yeah, it's very swollen and very bruised at the moment, and I'm obviously very limited mobility wise. I can't do this with my left foot. That would cause absolute agony. I have to keep my foot pointed down like this at all times, which is why they say only take your boot off once a day. But yeah, sorry if I've just made some of you feel a bit ill, but yeah, that's, oof, this is the reality. So let's go and have a shower. Okay, so this is currently how I do the shower. This is just my stool that I sit on at my makeup table, and I've put a plastic bag on it because I don't want it to get wet. But I basically sit on this stool and then kind of like climb into the shower like this, and then just sit down. Obviously can't stand, and that's it. I'll see you on the other side. Sorry, the angles from now on are not going to be great because obviously I can't like stand properly to adjust angles, but I'm sat on the stool currently. This is my OOTD grey cycling shorts and a grey hoodie to go with my grey boot. But I sit on the stool to do my skincare. I do stand up to wash my face just because I need the sink to do that, but when I do the rest of my skincare, I sit down to do it. Everything is just such an effort now. Like, I get out of breath, obviously, coming up and down the stairs. Even, like, just getting dressed then was, like, a hard task. I'm going to do my skincare, brush my teeth, and then I'm going to go back in the room I was in earlier to get the things that I sold on Vinted, take downstairs with me. I do need to brush my hair. Well, I don't need to brush my hair because I'm not going anywhere, but I feel like I should brush it. And then I'm gonna make myself some lunch. I think I'm gonna have some boiled eggs on toast. I actually just had a call from my sister-in-law, Barney's sister, to ask if I wanted anything. Everyone that currently knows about it has been very good. My mum said she's gonna come up and say Barney's family have been offering to come over or get me anything that I need if Barney's not here. I don't want this video to come across like I'm attention seeking. It's just that I have nothing else to do with my time. This boot is my new personality, but I'm not looking for attention or anything like that. I'm absolutely fine. I'm not in any pain. I do get some pain at night, because obviously I have to wear it to bed. but I think that's just from my foot adjusting for the boot, and also obviously I only did the injury 3 days ago, so I think that I'm probably still having some trauma from the actual injury itself. But overall, like day to day, I'm not in pain. Let's go sort my hair out. I've just made myself some lunch, some boiled eggs on toast. Good afternoon, it's like 4:30 and I am just about to package the items that I've sold on Vinted. The first thing I sold was this pair of checked trousers. I do actually really like these, but they just don't fit me very well. I was like, I'm probably not going to wear them again, so might as well get rid of them. I have pretty much been on the phone all afternoon. Reka called me at like 1, and then my mum called me, so I spoke to my mum, then I spoke to Barney, and then I spoke to Reka again, and I've only been off the phone for like maybe an hour, if that. So it's quite nice. I don't feel like I've been lonely today. My mum's also decided that she's going to come down next week instead of this week, because it is the Goodwood Festival of Speed this week, which is basically just an event going on in my area, which means that all of the hotels are either booked up, or if they're not booked up, then they are extortionate. And because we don't really have a spare room set up here yet, I feel like my mum would rather just stay in a hotel, so she's gonna come next week. That's the trousers. My Vinted is always linked in the description box, by the way, guys, if you do want to have a look at it. But I feel so tired, I think, where I don't know if I mentioned in the vlog, but I woke up at like 3 o'clock this morning just in pain. My foot was just in pain from where the boot is just putting a lot of pressure on it. Next thing I sold is this green quilted bag from Zara. And yeah, I woke up and I didn't really go back to sleep for a few hours, so even though I then slept until about 8:30, my sleep was just very broken. I feel very tired, so I might actually try and have a little afternoon power nap. That's that one. And then the final thing that I sold were these lilac heels, but I actually want to wipe these down, so I'm just going to go and get a wipe from the kitchen. I'm going to take this hoodie off because I'm absolutely boiling. At the moment, everything is just so much effort, like going up the stairs, doing a simple task. I've literally just done the washing up from when I made my lunch earlier and bleached the sink. Just going to tie my hair up in a bun. And I also bleached the toilet, and that's about as far as my cleaning is going to go today. Let me get this white. This is how I walk, by the way, with a limp. Let me wipe these down. So yeah, what I was actually coming on to say was that I'm probably going to end the vlog here. I know it hasn't been like massively long or interesting probably, but I thought I can hardly just like come on a vlog and be like, by the way, I've ruptured my Achilles, and then not have like a little follow-up vlog after that. I hope you've enjoyed it anyway. If anyone has any questions about my injury, please feel free to ask. I am happy to answer anything if I can, and let me know what kind of things you want to see in a vlog. Obviously can't really do things that involve moving. Oh, that's actually come off really well. Package these up. Almost the dreaded injection hour. I have to do my injection at 7 o'clock every evening, which, as you can imagine, I love. Barney does do it for me, but yeah, it's just not fun, really. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. I can't lie to you, my channel is going to consist of a lot of this kind of thing for the next 2 months, so I understand if you don't want to see that, but if you do, then make sure you are subscribed. If you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!